Earlier this year, I held an April Fool's Day mapping contest. The general idea was to make the dumbest, craziest, wackiest joke map that was actually still fun to play. I know a lot about joke maps. I've made a lot of really dumb maps that you've possibly played in the past. I take them very seriously. I take joke maps way too seriously. So not only were these maps judged on the jokes and the over-the-top nature of it, but also their gameplay, originality, and technicality. We wanted some staying power in some of these maps, so without further ado, we're going to get into the top 3 maps. If you are interested in playing any of them, check out the links below. Make sure to go support these maps. If you want to see more crazy that's over-the-top maps, go play them, go tell the mappers how much fun you had. And in first place, Payload Casserole RC1 by Whomobile. So this map is Half-Life 1 in TF2. There's a lot of really genuine, hilarious moments I had in the past. Also, ignore the missing texture, that's on my end. It doesn't look like that for everybody. The best part was as the map slowly got revealed more and more as you progressed in it, you ended up finding more of these ridiculous things. The payload cart having the scientist from Half-Life 1 screaming on it, it was a little spammy, but it's just the most ridiculous thing as you're pushing the cart. You have another scientist running around that acts like a train hazard. You have the G-Man spinning as a saw. There's all sorts of things to find on this map. Gameplay-wise, it was actually really interesting. A few minor issues with sniper sight lines and things like that, but being so huge and open, I don't know, there's a lot of things that let it get away with it with some of the tricks it did. There's these teleporters forward spawn kind of setup, where at your spawn you have this teleporter you go through, and that kind of jumps you forward onto the map, and it gives you another way to get out. There's a little bit of bugginess with the moving objects, but that's the source engine for you. Overall, I think this is a really funny map, bugs aside, and I think it's definitely worth your playtime. In second place, CP Dog 3 2018 by Another Bad Pun and Diva Dan. I had an absolute blast playing this map. There was a lot of really fun moments. The reveal of dropping down and falling between the maps and teleporting to the next one, you assume it's just a death pit and you're gonna die, and then you go to the next level down, and you get these moments where you're falling and you're a little bit too far off the edge and you're just zipping through the maps, slowly inching your way closer and closer and closer before you slamming down and surprising whoever's there. I thought it was a really interesting idea of splitting everything up into 3 small maps with this hub at the start connecting them, and the hub actually locks when the other team captures it. So you can't get to that point, you have to go to another point and drop down to get to it to retake it, which I thought was a really cool mechanic. It's not something that everybody seems to get right away, unfortunately. I feel like it could have been telegraphed a little bit better, but I think it's a really interesting idea that would have never really played well in a serious map. So I thought it was really, really cool. The map isn't super technical, but there's a lot of basic elements that all come together that make it a really enjoyable joke map. And in first place, Payload Skirmish B1 by Mikroscopic, and oh god, I can't pronounce that, I'm sorry, just look at the screen, it's there, look, go, it's there. Okay, so, I couldn't resist. I couldn't resist ranking this high, and I can't wait to hear some of the reactions to this. But the reveal for this map is hilarious. The name alone doesn't tell you what it is, but as soon as you get in there, you realize what map you're on, which is Watchpoint Gibraltar from Overwatch, which I absolutely love, the trolling aspect of the people who are really anti-Overwatch. I don't really care either way, I don't play Overwatch, but it's really funny to see the people who get super upset about it. So bring that to TF2 just is, I love it. But if it was just that, that wouldn't be enough. That's just bringing over another design. Granted, it was a lot of work copying it over one-to-one. You can't just convert an Overwatch map over. They had to manually make this. They had to manually place the textures. They had to do a lot of that stuff. The most batshit crazy thing I think I've ever seen in a joke map is the fact that they replaced every single audio line from every class in the game with the equivalent Overwatch character voice.
Watchpoint Gibraltar.
Hiya, Tracer here. Don't think I'm happy about that. Ever get that feeling, deja vu? Rubbish. Farah reporting.
There is someone here.
Go. Incoming. I require healing.
Attack commences in 30 seconds.
Roadhog time. That could have gone better. Incoming.
Junkrat primed and
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Now we're cooking with gas. Oh!
I am the strongest woman in the world. Go!
Incoming.
Incoming! Need healing! Torbjörn, ready to work! We need a teleporter! Form up!
The doctor is in.
60 seconds remaining.
Mercy in Bereitschaftsdienst. Incoming. Enemy detected. Heal me. I'm ready to kill. Move it! Merci. ¿Qué tal?
30 seconds remaining.
I told you to stay out of my way. Everything can be hacked. And everyone. Need healing over here. Incoming.
That is a lot of audio to go through. It is over 2,000 audio overrides in this map. It was just an incredible amount of effort to put into like the back end side of the map. And as you discover these, you start playing the characters. It makes you want to play more and more and more because you want to hear all these different lines. And as you're playing, you're hearing the death screams. They're just way over the top. There's so much like subtlety that you don't even realize you're hearing between the round music and the sentry gun is Bastion.
Turret deployed!
There's so much really cool stuff, and just going through the classes and playing, you know, going through their voice lines and hearing what they are is just an absolute hilarious moment. So given all that work, I really couldn't resist ranking that high in the contest because, wow. Overwatch's gameplay spaces don't quite fit TF2. The opening area was a little bit hard to push out of at the start, and there were a couple little bugs, but beyond that, it was actually a lot of fun to play on, and it has the right verticality. It has the right pathing. It made for a really fun TF2 map. So it works, and it works well, I think. But just, like I said, the absolute sheer number of audio overrides was just an incredible amount of work to put into it. So our number one champion of this year's April Fool's contest, Payload Skirmish, B1 by Microscopic and that person. And I couldn't resist an honorable mention, King of the Hill, TF2 Craps B1 by Nicky. There's actually a really hilarious reveal with the boss, and there's a lot of fun and really funny events. An incredible amount of work went into this map as well. It just barely was fourth place. Like the top 5 grouping, top 6 grouping in this whole contest was really tight. So I feel bad about the ones that just barely didn't make the cut, but there was a lot of really good maps in this. It has this mini game where you shoot the targets out, damage the other team, and you get this mini game to play afterwards. And the mini games were genius. I absolutely loved them. There's a quiz. There's like Wii Sports Tennis. A lot of things you really don't expect. And it's got this really cool sprite style, sort of like Cuphead. A lot of work was put into it, and I really, really appreciated it. The only issue I had with it was the combat was really one-dimensional with the gameplay. The combat all revolves around this corner, and it's so choke pointy that the PvP combat would kind of stagnate. So that's the only thing that really dragged it just below. Otherwise, this would have been my top pick, I think. There was a lot of really cool ideas here, and it was a lot of really hilarious moments. The quiz was a blast, so very, very close honorable mention to that map. So I should also say this is most likely going to be my last April Fool's Day contest. I had to skip last year due to the birth of my child. And it turns out that's really time consuming. As you can see, it's June. I held this contest at the beginning of April, and I'm just now getting around to releasing the results because it took me this long to actually write it all up and record and edit and put it all together. So I appreciate your patience. I apologize that I'm not gonna be able to do it again. I just wanted to get it out there that I won't, because I know there's a lot of people who work on these maps. That said, we will most likely still be doing an April Fool's Day event next year. Somebody else might take up the reins, but me personally, I will not be running it. So anyway, thanks for watching. Like I said, if you want to check out these maps, check the download links below. Go support custom maps. Go play custom maps!